Sunday was a profitable day in the NFL. Let's carry that momentum into Monday Night Football. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Thanks for kicking off your week with me here as we're on the Monday edition here of Winning Bets. I'm, of course, Jay Sabatis, and we're giving out free sports picks every single day. What'd you guys do this past weekend? Did you have a good old weekend there? It is already cold and snowy in Chicago. That's right. We got snow on Saturday. We got snow on Sunday. Albeit it's just flurries or light little dusting. Nothing sticking to, the grass or the road. But still, snow. It's already happening, folks. Cold temperatures. Brutal out there. Windy as all get out. That's what you get, though. You live in the windy cities. To be expected. But, yeah, we still had a good weekend, though. We had a really good time. Some family come in town, visit from Colorado, celebrated some birthdays, some weddings. It was a good weekend, and I hope you guys had a fantastic weekend as well. We had a good NFL Sunday. Again, we like to carry that momentum on up into Monday Night Football. Before we do that, let's go ahead and remember last weekend. Let's remember some of those good wins, and let's remember some of those painful losses that we had last week. Another tough week for us, though, 22-30 and down 10.87 units, but still having a good, fantastic year. Year to date, a whole lot of wins, a whole lot of losses, and plus 71.68 units up on the year. Some of those good wins from last week. How about Blake Griffin? Went a perfect 3-0, fading our guy Blake Griffin. He is quickly becoming one of my favorite players in all of the NBA. We also got a good James Harden cash. Remember that was on Friday. We went over 29.5 points and assists. Well, he scored 39 points alone. I think he chipped in with a half a dozen or so assists, so easily went up over 29.5. So that was a good one right there. We've been dipping into the NBA first quarter markets, taking NBA spreads in that first quarter, and so far we're 5-3, so we've turned a good profit there. I know it's only 5-3, but that's only small sample size, right? You extrapolate that over a big sample size, that's 10-6, then that's 15-9, and then with that becomes increased profit. So we'll look to continue playing that trend, and it's been good to us right there. So we'll definitely get in some of those bets on today. What about some on the NFL action? Aaron Jones up over 26.5 receiving yards. We talked about how the Seahawks defense continues to struggle to defend the running back position from a receiving standpoint. Aaron Jones went up over that pretty easily before he exited that game due to an injury. We also got Dan Arnold. He's our guy. Dan Arnold is absolutely our guy. We're 5-1 cashing Dan Arnold tickets. Absolutely love that guy. Don't wait for me. Just go ahead and bet that whenever you see it this coming weekend. He is easily Trevor Lawrence's go-to guy. So love him right there. Dalvin Cook up over 88.5 rushing yards yesterday. He got that. Headed in the low 90s. Got it late, but he went ahead and got it right there. So a nice one right there. And then Jonathan Taylor. We went ahead and used DraftKings profit boost of will he score a touchdown at even money, put 2 units on that. So that one's why that one's a notable win, is because we put 2 units on it. Again, anytime you bet multiple units or win multiple units, to me, that's a really good win. And Jonathan Taylor came through us good. Some of those painful losses, RJ Barrett first basket. We took RJ Barrett on Friday to score the first basket at plus 1050, and he missed a layup. Could have won 10 units if he dropped in a layup, but he missed it. That was painful. I mean, absolutely painful. You hit that right there, we're profitable on the week. Let's not talk about all of our other bad losses. Just make a layup RJ Barrett, and we're, not profitable, you're even or whatever on the week. Painful right there. Justin Tucker on Thursday night missing a field goal, had gone 15 straight field goals. We needed 2 made field goals in that game. He misses one and only ends up with 1 made field goal on the day. Painful right there. Mike Gesicki didn't get any yards, didn't get any catches, with just, bad balls are thrown his way. So that was just bad. That's just a bad loss just because we've been riding him all season long and he's been really good to us. So tough one right there. Devontae Williams needed over 48.5 rushing yards, ended the game with 48, and didn't get any carries the rest of the way because the Broncos were getting blown out and he just couldn't see the ball. So lost on the hook, lost by 1 yard. That was painful. And then Darrell Williams, he was painful. Sunday Night Football, needed up over 51.5 rushing yards, ended the game with 43, had that 43 midway through the third quarter, and then didn't see the ball again. Chiefs wanted to just pass the ball all night long. So that was painful right there when you're so close early in the third quarter and you really don't need all that much. I mean, you just need, 1 drive's worth of production there from a running back, and couldn't get that right there. So painful right there. But yeah, painful week, but still doing really good up on the year. Again, plus 71.68 units. And unfortunately, it does last week continue a pretty rough slide we're on now, about 3 to 4 weeks. We've been on a rough slide, and quite frankly, it's not been any fun, but we'll continue putting on in the work. And right there, I mentioned, up over 71 units, up on the year to date. Before this rough slide, it was a tick up under 100 units. So we'll continue to put in all the work that generated all that year to date profit, and we'll get right back there, right there. If you're new to tailing, if you're new to subscribing to this channel, I hate that you guys joined at a rough time, but, rough times come in every sports bettor's, over their, little bit of a span here. And it's just going to happen. So, like I said, killing it year to date. So if you're new here, just hang in there. We're going to turn some profits here this week, and we'll get it right back on schedule. I want to highlight some of the things that have been going good for us as we're, about 3-4 weeks through the NBA season and a little over halfway through the NFL season. We're 5-1, cashing Dan Arnold tickets. Mentioned that right there. So absolutely killing Dan Arnold. And again, can't wait for him to play this weekend. And are you going to go ahead and bet him? Don't even wait for me. Just go ahead and grab Dan Arnold whenever you see it. It's right there. Same thing with Mike Gesicki. We're 6-1 betting Mike Gesicki on the season. I know we're coming off the loss, but fact is he still led the team in targets in that game. He just couldn't get an accurate ball thrown his way. And I'm not put off by that performance. When he cashes six straight tickets, yeah, we're doing something right there with Mike Gesicki. So we'll look to possibly play him. And the good thing about that is he didn't get any yards, obviously, because he didn't get any catches. That should bring his number down. I think this past week was the highest number we've ever bet him. Coming off a performance of no catches, no yards, I bet that number comes back down into the 40s. So like that. Don't like losing a bet. Don't like losing money. But we lost it in such big fashion that it should bring that number down. So that'll be on our favor right there. If we flip it over to basketball, Blake Griffin. Fading Blake Griffin has been good to us so far in the early season. We're now 6-2, fading Blake Griffin. CJ McCollum, we're 9-2. 9-2, CJ McCollum. He's hit a little bit of a rough patch. We didn't get in as many bets on him last week that we would like to do just because he's not been shooting the ball very well. He did go over his numbers last night, but Damian Lillard wasn't there because he was out due to an injury. I know they're playing again tonight. I don't have a bet for CJ McCollum because I'm waiting to see if Damian Lillard is going to be involved in tonight's game. If Lillard is involved in tonight's game, I'll probably hold off because he had been struggling the last few games with Lillard in the lineup. It's not Lillard's doing. It's just Lillard is going to take away production from CJ. But if Lillard is not playing tonight, you saw what happened last night. He was the go-to guy. He's the guy putting up the majority of the shots, getting the majority of the production. So let's just wait and see. But either way, CJ's been great to us. 9-2 on the season. And then our first quarter bets, I mentioned them right there. We're 5-3. We'll keep playing them because I believe over a bigger sample size, we'll have a better win percentage and we'll have more profit. So look to get back into that. And the other thing I want to get back into is my dog of the days. You guys see it on my Twitter profile. I may have a losing record on my dog of the days, but we have a profitable, we're profitable on betting dog of the days. I want to get back into getting into those dog of the days. I've kind of forgotten and tailed off there, but they're fun. They've been profitable. And just remember, dog of the days don't do everything better than their opponent, but that's why they're considered dog of the days. And again, losing record, but we've been profitable with those dog of the days. We're going to get back on those dog of the days today and look to carry those each and every day going forward. All right, with that being said, though, let's go ahead now and turn our attention to today's action and lock in our bets for today. We've got 2 Monday Night Football bets, and then I've got some other NBA action to go ahead and get for you. Let's start with Monday Night Football. Let's start with George Kittle over 50.5 receiving yards at -125 up over a points bet. Tweeted this bet up over, I think it was Friday or Saturday I tweeted this bet. Absolutely like this. He had his first game back, coming back from injury last week. He's our old friend. We know George Kittle. We didn't bet him last week because I wanted to see what would happen coming off the injury. Well, he had 6 catches for 101 yards on 8 targets. Those 8 targets were tied for second most on the team, so he just jumped right back into the normal George Kittle role. So an old friend of ours that we cashed last season, we've already got a couple cashes on him so far this season. He's cashed this in 3 of the 5 games this season, so I'm going right back to our guy. Rams allow 61 yards per game to the tight end position, but we know how just a big factor George Kittle is into that 49ers offense. So we're going Kittle over 50.5 receiving yards at -125 over a points bet. Let's stay with one of his teammates now and look at Jimmy Garoppolo. I'm going to go, yes, he's going to throw an interception tonight at -118 up over at Bet Rivers. He's had an interception in 4 of his last 5 games and 5 interceptions total. Rams average 1.3 interceptions per game, does their defense. They have the 4th most interceptions in all of the NFL. And the Rams had the front 4 to put pressure on Garoppolo, force him into bad decisions, or force him into rush decisions. That front 4, obviously led by Aaron Donald, is really strong and really good. And they've getting interceptions. Like I just said, 1.3 per game, 4th most in the NFL. Garoppolo's on a bad stretch here, 4 interceptions in the last 5 games. Yeah, I like him to throw a pick against a good front 4 that's backed up by a really good secondary. So Garoppolo would throw an interception at -118 for me. All right, let's go ahead now and get in our dog of the day, and we're going to look at the NBA for our dog of the day. Let's get De'Aaron Fox over 1.5 made 3-pointers at +122 up over at FanDuel. Look, he attempts 4.7 per game, but he only shoots 23%. So you may be thinking, well, why are we going to look at De'Aaron Fox? What I like about this is the Pistons allow 4.4 made 3-pointers per game to the point guard position in the last 7 games. Overall, it's 3.3 to that point guard position. Both of those numbers rank in the bottom third in the NBA. The Pistons are dead last in three-point field goal percentage allowed to the opponent at 40.5. So that's why we're going to do it. Maybe De'Aaron Fox doesn't shoot the 3-pointers all that great, only shooting 23%. He's hit this number. He can hit it again against a very poor Pistons team defending the point guard position and obviously defending the three-point arc overall. So that'll be our dog of the day. De'Aaron Fox over 1.5 made 3-pointers at +122 over FanDuel. All right, I mentioned those NBA first quarter spreads that we've gotten our nice 5-3 record on. We're looking to kick those off again today. I'm going to hit you guys with where I'm thinking, because none of the sports books have posted any of the first quarter spreads to this point at the time of me doing this recording here on Monday morning. So I'm going to get you the information so you can either make the decision on your own, or you can look for what I'm thinking, and then I'll obviously tweet out, once the bets have been pulled, once the bets have been made, I'll obviously go ahead and tweet them out. So I'm looking at this Hawks Magic game. I like the Hawks on the first quarter spread. They're 8-4 overall, but they're 4-0 at home covering the first quarter spread. The Magic are 4-8 and 1-5 on the road covering the first quarter spread. So you can obviously see big discrepancy here. Hawks should win the first quarter and win the first quarter by some margin. They have a better first quarter margin by about 4 points. So let's see what the number comes in. But if it comes in at 0.5 or 1.5, I think we can still go ahead and take 2.5 is a bit of a risk. I would probably hold off on 2.5, but 0.5 and 1.5, we'll probably go ahead and snag that Hawk. So you can go ahead and look for that one. Another one I like here is the Pacers and Knicks. I like the Pacers to cover the first quarter spread. They're 9-4 overall. They're 5-3 on the road. The Knicks, meanwhile, they're 5-7 covering the first quarter spread, but only 1-5 at home. And the Pacers over the Knicks have about 4.3 point differential there in the first quarter. So sounding like the Hawks, if we get 0.5 or if we get 1.5, I think it's worth backing the Pacers there in that first quarter. The next one I like is the Heat on the first quarter spread. They're 8-4 overall, but 3-4 on the road. But they have a plus 6.25 point differential there in that first quarter. The Thunder, meanwhile, are 3-6-1 on the first quarter spreads. They're 1-3 at home. Their point differential is negative 6.7. So you got a 12-point differential here in that first quarter between Heat +6 and the Thunder -6. This one we could probably bet at -2.5, and I think this one will probably come in at -2.5, but I think it's worth pulling the trigger there on the Heat. Well, again, let's see what the number comes in at. The other one I like here is the Lakers on that first quarter spread. They're 7-4-1 overall. They're 6-2-1 at home. Meanwhile, the Bulls are 4-7 overall and 0-4 covering that first quarter spread. So the Lakers are covering the spread. The Bulls obviously aren't covering the spread on the road. So we'll obviously look to back the Lakers here. Their point differentials here are pretty close. So this one needs to be at 0.5. If it's at 1.5, I will not be backing the Lakers on that first quarter. This one needs to be at -0.5 on that first quarter spread. So basically just say, will the Lakers win that first quarter? If that's what the number comes in at, then we'll look to go ahead and do that one. We'll also look to play some first quarters over-unders. What we like to do in that Kings-Pistons game, first quarter under. Again, let's see what the number comes in. They're combined 15-7, cashing that first quarter under. Let's see what the number comes in at, but we'll look to cash that one. Mavs-Nuggets, first quarter under. They're combined 14-8, cashing that first quarter under. Bulls-Lakers, first quarter under. They're combined 15-7-1, cashing the first quarter under. So those will be the ones we'll look to go right there. So we've got a handful of first quarter spreads, and then we got a handful of also first quarter unders that we'll be looking to back when we see what the numbers come in at. And then maybe 2 additional NBA player props we'll maybe look to go in. We'll maybe look to fade Jerami Grant. Tough to fade him just because of the volume. That's why I wasn't able to give you guys this bet, because I'm a little torn. I mean, he's just the guy on that team. I think Cunningham is cutting in his production, thankfully, where last year he was flat out the guy. Cunningham is definitely cutting in his production, but he's still one of the main guys on that Pistons team. But the Kings are actually fantastic at defending that small forward position. They only allow 16.3 points per game on 39.7 field goal percentage. Both of those numbers are in the top 5 in the NBA. So maybe we'll look to fade Jerami Grant, whose number is currently right now at 20.5. And then Clint Capella, one of our friends. We'll maybe look to tail him. The Magic versus center, allowing 23.1 points per game on 53.4% field goal percentage, and they allow 18.2 rebounds per game. All those rank in the bottom third in the NBA. So maybe Clint Capella, when that number comes out, maybe he'll be our friend today. I don't like to get him at 12.5 because he's one of those guys where he's just not a go-to guy on that team. He gets a lot of easy buckets and rebounds for easy buckets, but he's not really involved heavily in that offense. So at 12.5, I want no part of it. But at 10.5 and 11.5, I'll probably go ahead and pull the trigger there on Clint Capella. All right, guys, so that's how we're going to do it. That's how we're going to kick off Monday. We've got a couple Monday Night Football bets. We've got the dog of the day there of De'Aaron Fox, and we've got some NBA first quarter bets. We're definitely going to get some in. I'm not going to bet all of these. I want to see which of the numbers are, which are my favorite ones, and then we'll go ahead and pull a trigger on that. So just look for me on Twitter. It's at WinningBetsPod. It's at WinningBetsPod. Let's get back to our winning ways. Let's forget last week, put some money in our pocket starting with today, and that's exactly what we'll do. Go enjoy your Monday, guys. We'll see you back here on tomorrow's show. Thanks for watching till the end. I'm Jason Mattis. Any love you can show by giving me a like, a subscription, or a comment, or even just share this video is very much appreciated. And don't forget to turn on your notifications to increase your chances of locking in the same odds as I talked about today. And check out my other great videos in these corners.